So we are going for a quick revision session on pointers. You might have gone through various online resources to understand pointers. There may be some visualizations, there may be some theories that you might have gone through. So let us see how these pointers work in a very simple way that will aid you with those all other online resources. So what pointers are? These pointers are variables which point to something, right? And this something is address of another variable. Pointers are the variables which point to another variables by storing the address of that variable. For example, we have an integer variable x, right? Whenever the compiler encounters this statement, it will reserve some memory location in the computer memory. Say the location is 800, 801, 802, 803, right? Generally, actually the memory address is a hexadecimal value. I am taking this decimal value for your better understanding. Now the computer is reserving the memory location 800 to 801 for integer value and naming it as x. Your x will be represented by the address 800, although 800 and 801 both are representing x. This 800 here in this case will be known as base address. Now suppose you write x is equal to 10. This 10 will be stored in the memory location which represents x. So 10 will be stored here. Right? Now, suppose I want to access this particular variable x using its pointer, right? So I have to tell my compiler that I am going to use a pointer p, right? Now when I am telling my compiler I am going to use a pointer, I have to use a symbol that is asterisk to indicate that p is a pointer. The data type of the pointer that we are using would be actually the data type of the variable it is pointing to. Pointer is going to store a hexadecimal address value, but of which data type is mentioned in its declaration. If I am saying it is an integer pointer, that means that the pointer variable is going to store the address of an integer variable, right? So that is an integer pointer. Now how will I assign the address of x in p? So for that we have to use the address operator and assign the value of x in p, right? So now there will be a variable when this will be encountered. There will be a variable which will be created in the memory by the compiler, right? Which will be known as p. For example, it is at 803, right? And the memory required for storing the hex value, right? Now this particular p will be assigned the value which is representing address of x. This address of x is the base address of variable x, which is 800. So this will store 800, right? So my variable p is actually storing the address 800, which is base address of x. So here you can see that my variable p is pointing to base address of x or address of x. That is why my p is known as pointer to x, right? Now when I want to print the value of x using the pointer, I have to use the valuate operator to print this value. So in my normal printf statement, instead of writing x, if I want to print the value using the pointer, what I have to do is I have to simply write value at p. Now here you can see this asterisk sign, which was used in the declaration section, was used to tell the compiler that p is a pointer. But when you are using it inside the processing steps, it is representing the fact that you are going to talk about value at address represented by p. Value at address represented by p, which is 10. Right? I hope this basic of pointer is clear. Thank you for watching the video.